Everyone, today I'm going to give you guys a complete rundown on the Prolux Micro Scrubber. We're going to unbox it, we're going to assemble it, I'm going to show you guys how to set it up, how to use it, and then I'm going to go over some maintenance. So let's dive in. Alright, so I went ahead and removed the straps and cut the tape, so let's open it up and see what's inside. Right off the bat we have the instruction manual. This smaller box is going to be the battery charger. Then we have the actual unit itself, and then you also get 2 pad holders with scouring pads already attached. And you may notice that you don't see the battery anywhere. The battery is already installed. All you have to do is plug it in. So let's go ahead and remove this. Alright, let's quickly recap what's included in the box. You have the unit itself, the battery charger, the instruction manual, and then 2 pad holders with 2 pads already attached. Like I mentioned earlier, the battery is already installed inside the unit, but it's unplugged. So the next thing we're going to do is we're going to plug it in, and I'll show you how to do that. Alright, so we need to lower this part, and to do so there is a black button right here. So we're going to push that and lower it. Now that we have the head lowered, we need to lock it in the upright position. So you have this black part right here. Push that down and make sure you slide this locking pin out. Once you have it in, slide the locking pin in, and you have it in the locked upright position. So we're looking at the top of the scrubber head, and then in this giant rectangle piece there are 2 little screws you need to remove. Once you get that unscrewed, lift it up and then you can pull it out. Here is the battery. All we need to do is grab these wires on the side, and then it can only go in one way. So go ahead and plug the wires into each other. Tuck them back in there. Get the battery cover plate, and then go ahead and tighten those screws back down, securing it to the unit. Once you have the battery installed, the best thing to do after this is plug the charger into this port right here and let it charge overnight. If you were to turn the power button on up top, it's going to show 100%, but as soon as you start using it, it's going to drop down to the correct battery percentage. So once you have the battery installed, go ahead and plug it in and let it charge overnight. Now that we have it unboxed and assembled, I'm going to go over how to set it up for use. But quickly, since we're down here, I'm going to show you guys how to put this in the storage position. You got this locking pin. Go ahead and slide that out, and then get this metal bar and lift it up. There's a magnet. Dole in place. And then go ahead and grab the handle. Lift it up, and then push it into the unit to lock it. Alright, now that we have the unit unboxed and assembled, which you saw is pretty easy and straightforward, before we get to the use, we need to talk about setup, and then we're going to go over a few of the features on this machine. So this is going to be the clean water tank, and it's also labeled clean water tank. This is where you're going to put your water and your cleaning solution. Then on the back you have the dirty water tank. When we get over to the maintenance aspect of this video, that's going to be very crucial when it comes to maintaining this unit, but we will cover that later. There is a button back here. If you put your finger in here, you can fill it, push down, and you can pull it off, and then you get a better idea. It's going to be orange. Just put your finger on that, push down, pull it off. Clean water tank. To fill the clean water tank, you have this gray plug right here. Pop that off and fill it with water and your choice of solution. Just make sure whatever solution you are using, make sure it doesn't foam quickly, because that can cause some issues. But fill it with your water and solution, put the plug back in, and then go ahead and put it back on the unit. Down here, like I said, you already have 2 brushes installed, and these use magnets as well. So to remove them, just get your finger up behind them and pull them off. You can see the magnets right there. Then put it back on, just go ahead and line them up, and they will attach themselves. Up top right here where the squeegee blade is, you have these 2 screws. If you are to remove these screws, the squeegee blade easily comes out. So the squeegee blade is very easy to replace. You just have 2 screws up top. And then you have 3 wheels attached to the squeegee bracket. So when you're using this, it rolls around very nicely. And then you have 2 larger wheels on the back for rolling it around to store it when it's in upright storage position. Alright, so we got the clean water tank full of solution. I'm going to show you guys the buttons real quick. So turn it on, you're going to have a battery indicator life. If you turn on the brushes, you will hear the brushes turn on and they will be moving. This is going to be the suction button. And then this is the dispense button. So if you push it once, the light is going to be solid green. Push it again, it's going to flash, which is going to be half the dispensing of solution. Turn it off, or press it again, it'll turn off. And then you have speed selection right now. So I'm going to set up the camera and then just show you guys what it can do. Alright, so that was just a quick demonstration of the Prolux micro scrubber. Want to quickly recap what we've gone over real quick. We've unboxed the unit, which is straightforward. Cut the tape, take it out. Went over assembly, which assembly, all you have to do is connect the battery to the unit. We went over setup. For setup, all you have to do is add water and cleaner to the clean water tank. And then we went over use, so we showed you guys what the buttons do on the top of the handle, and I showed you how easy it is to maneuver it. I was able to go behind the back and do a bunch of cool tricks with it. So this unit is very easy to use. You got a couple things to just make sure you do before you get ready to use it, whether that is prepping the floor, adding water or solution to the clean water tank, and making sure the battery is installed or plugged. And then again, once you take the unit out, before you use it, let it charge overnight so you get the best battery performance that you can get. Now that we've gone over all of that, which is very useful and very easy to understand, I want to go over maintenance, and maintenance is going to be the most crucial part of this video. If you guys do not maintain the unit, it's not going to work properly. So let's dive into it. Alright, so we're in the maintenance segment of this video, and there's a few things I want to mention and a few things you guys need to make sure you're doing to get the optimal performance out of your micro scrubber. The first thing is, after every time you're done using it, it's wise to remove the brushes and go ahead and rinse them off and make sure they dry completely. That way when you go to use it again, you don't have a bunch of dirt or grime or objects in the bristles, which could possibly damage the next surface you're going to clean. So every time you're done using it and before you put it away, go ahead and remove the brushes and just rinse them off. Same thing with the squeegee. Take a look inside the squeegee and remove any large debris, whether that's wrappers or crumbs or food or pet hair, depending on whatever surface you're cleaning. Moving on, we're going to talk about the dirty water tank real quick. To remove this, same thing, you just got to get your fingers underneath this grab handle and rip it off. So this is a dirty water tank, and you're going to notice that there is a max fill line on it. That is the max line. Do not let the dirty water overfill. To empty it, you can either undo this plug at the top and dump it out, You also have a view port right here, which is going to be this white plug. Take that off and you can look inside it to see where the dirty water level is at. A good thing to note is every time you refill the clean water tank, go ahead and empty the dirty water tank, and this is why. If you look at the back of the dirty water tank, you're going to have this mesh filter screen. So what happens, and we've seen this with some past customers, is they don't empty the dirty water tank after every time they go and refill the clean water tank. So the dirty water level is going to continue to rise, and it's eventually going to seep out of this filter screen. And when it does that, is the water gets sucked up through this port and then goes up into the suction motor. And what's going to happen is if that suction motor gets liquid on it, it's not going to work properly. And then the suction button at the top, when you go to turn it on, it's going to flash green. And you might not pay attention to it because you're going to see that the brushes are still spinning, but the suction motor is not going to be sucking up any liquid. So when you go to use it and you have that issue, it's not going to be picking anything up. Another thing to note is whatever cleaner you're using, make sure it's not a cleaner that foams up very quickly. Because another thing that we've noticed and some customers have experienced is foam creates humidity and moisture. And there is a sensor on this thing that if it detects moisture or liquid, it's going to shut off the suction motor. If you're using a cleaner that foams up quickly, make sure that you're checking the dirty water tank periodically by removing this view plug and looking in there. If you see foam, you need to empty the dirty water tank and then you need to flush it out until all the foam is gone entirely. And then make sure that you get a different cleaner that doesn't foam up. Those are probably the only two issues we've seen or heard from our customers. But again, don't want to be mean, that is a user error. You guys aren't paying attention to the dirty water tank level. There is a max fill line for a reason. When you go to refill the clean water tank, just empty this one out. All right, so like I said, if you're using a cleaner that emits or creates foam, foam makes moisture and humidity, and this little tiny black wire back here, there's like a little tiny black block. That's the safety sensor. So if it gets wet, it's going to shut off the suction motor. If you have any of those problems, it's either from water getting sucked up through the port, going up to the suction motor, or that little sensor right there is getting water on it, resulting in the suction motor not working. So if that happens to you, you need to let it sit and dry, or you can wipe this sensor off so it works again. So regarding maintenance on the Prolux Micro Scrubber, it all comes down to the dirty water tank and making sure you guys are checking it and emptying it when it reaches that max fill line. Another thing we've heard from another customer is the unit keeps dispensing water when they turned it off, which I haven't noticed that while using it, but something to take note is the dispensing button at the top of the handle. If you press it once, it's going to be on full max mode. If you press it again, it's going to blink and it's going to dispense less water. You need to make sure that the light is completely off for it not to be dispensing water. And make sure that you turn it off and go over the areas again. If you see any excess water, the suction and the brushes are going to pick that up and leave your floor completely dry. That's going to sum up today's video regarding the Prolux Micro Scrubber. It looks intimidating, but once you start to dig into it and use it, it's very easy and basic to operate. Just got to fill the clean water tank with water and solution. You have buttons up top to use it, and then again, just empty the dirty water tank so you guys don't run into any problems in the future. And then again, for the brushes, to remove them, they use magnets. So all you have to do, take them off. The pad holder will go on the same way. Then you can attach different grit of scouring pads or whatever that you want to use. They just use magnets, so really easy to remove. If you guys have any questions regarding this video or this product, you can leave a comment down in the comment section below, or you can send us an email at service@proluxcleaners.com. I'm Kyle at Prolux. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.